What's up, everybody? I'm here with my bud, Austin Jochum. We're gonna do a big session, leg day today. Austin, what are we starting with?
We're gonna rip some snatches because my snatches were dog water last week, and I need somebody to do them with. Otherwise, I'm soft when it comes to snatching. So.
All right. I haven't snatched since last time I worked out with you. So
Yeah. When was that? Like a year ago?
That was probably a year ago. I did some snatches, so I'll hit those again, and then I'll run you through some like zercher Jefferson curls.
Oh, that'll be fun.
As payback for snatches.
Yeah, you're gonna fuck me up on some machines, I'm sure. Last time when we did that upper body lift, like I was so sore for so long because I ripped a rep scheme that was over 2 reps.
Yeah, you did what, like a set of 7?
And I was like, fuck, this sucks.
Well, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get some 20 rep sets in today.
Let's do it.
All right, man, we're rolling.
Let's go.
I saved the like intro for the end.
Yeah.
So that I can do an intro knowing what we
I got that. Yeah. No, I do the same thing.
what we actually did.
I've been doing a ton of no foot snatches, and it's been feeling like money. I've been really liking it.
No feet snatches are good. I have an athlete I train who does like powerlifting and Olympic lifting.
Yep.
Depending on like what his next comp is, our programming will be a little more powerlifting heavy or Olympic lifting heavy.
Yep.
During his last meet prep for his powerlifting meet, we did a ton of no feet variations just to like keep some skill, but kind of just limit the load.
Do you do that with cleans as well?
I like it more with snatches.
Snatch, same.
Last time we lifted together, I hit I wanted to get a body weight muscle snatch.
Yep.
And I was like 5 pounds short, I think.
Did you end up getting it?
I haven't snatched
Like later?
since.
Yeah, that was the last. Wait, that was the last time. I didn't mean like just last time you're here by yourself.
No,
Oh,
last
that's
time
funny.
I love just muscle snatch until you have to power, and then power snatch until you have to
Yes, I
squat.
know. That was my warm up for the longest time. But the one thing I've actually enjoyed about the snatch is like just me hitting it on purpose, like learn like on the fly with it.
I feel like one of the arguments against Olympic weightlifting for like athletes and stuff is the technical side of it. But if you just meathead it, it doesn't have to look that pretty.
Yeah, you watch Tim Riley's guys do it, and like they just full on meet it. I just hit myself in the dick really hard there too. I've never seen the snatch into the sissy into the stand up.
Fucking A, dude.
There we go. Oh. Oh my god.
Failed snatch, I feel like still develops like the quality you're trying to train.
Yeah.
My shoulders are done. I like doing a collection of odd lifts with different people because it's so fascinating how freakishly good people can be at things and bad.
Yeah.
Too.
My lifts are pretty much the same for everything, regardless of the variation. You know?
Right.
I don't have a 700-pound deadlift. I'm like I can do like 400 in like 17 different ways, but you
Exactly.
bring a 700-pound deadlifter in, and like if it's their first, there's no way. Like it's crazy how much some people drop off where their strength, like their peak strength level is this high, but they have no ability to translate it.
Is it legal to do Jeffersons with a deadlift bar?
I think so.
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm going straight leg.
I mean, I'm gonna attempt to do straight leg, and then you'll see what my hammies are like. It's embarrassing.
See, try full straight leg. Let's see how low you can get. Hey, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, like when you feel these, do you feel them in hamstrings or back?
The hamstrings.
Really? Yeah, my back gets so like, it's so tight, it's so crazy. Like when you deadlift, you feel in your hamstrings. Do
Me?
you? Yeah.
No.
No? Okay. I don't either. It's just like a straight low back, which is like, I still need to do it, but it like turns into a straight low back exercise. It's so funny.
Well, people will ask me sometimes, they see me doing this lift, they're like, is that a hamstring exercise or a back exercise? I'm like, well, as someone who has super mobile hamstrings, I feel like I can just get so much more movement there compared to my back, so I end up feeling more hamstring. I feel like the tempo for this makes a big difference to me too. So like if I rip it from the floor, I can just like use all hamstrings out the bottom and then just ride it up.
Yep.
Whereas if I'm like thinking more slow and controlled, I hit that sticking point in the middle, and then it's like a lot of back through.
Like if I were training me and programming for myself, I would program these every single deadlift day.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Close your guns. You're just.
Yeah, that's wild. That is wild.
I feel a lot warmer having snaps.
It is like it looks so pretty.
It usually
You're able
takes me a
You're able to
minute.
hinge and get into it so well.
Because he. Stop. You didn't want that.
I like these because eventually you have to turn it into a hinge. Like once you go heavier, for me anyways, like I can't squat it up anymore, so then I really like it takes the quads away, which is nice for me.
Dude, people are always beefing with Angus.
Angus and Atlas. Well, those two have been the Jeffrey Wolf thing. I was like,
Oh my God.
I get it. You need to stand up for your methods. You need to like do it. It's like, it's so exhausting. And I can't even meme ATD anymore because it's not worth it for me.
There's always like some beef between like the experiential training people versus science-based lifting,
Yeah.
like evidence-based crowd. But I feel like everyone really exists on that like continuum somewhere.
You're living and breathing it, you know? Like your science is doing it. You know what I mean? People will say something. And it's like, you don't work with athletes. Like,
Right.
I know just based off what you're saying right here, that's not a real life thing. Like, that's not real life. Like, we're making it like the biggest thing. Will and I talk about this on where like Twitter. Well, a coach will be like, an athlete asked me this question today. No, he didn't. No, like that athlete never. That's a made up
Things
like
that didn't
prop.
happen for
Things that didn't
$500.
happen for $2 million. You asked yourself that question,
That's
which is
amazing.
okay. What was your process of building up into the mobility to be able to do these?
So for me, I think my journey into these is probably a little different than most, because the mobility side, like with the hammies, has always come pretty naturally. So like getting to the floor and stuff, I could basically do right away. But the back strength, like I've thrown my back out so many times. It just took me so long of like gradually building intensity to be able to push this kind of stuff hard. I had to train at like RP 5, 6 tops for a long time on back stuff
Yeah.
before I could like 1 rep max something like this with confidence. 10 years ago, I had the mobility, I had the strength, but I like for sure would have fucked in my back.
Really?
Just like something would have tweaked and popped or something.
See, that was the weird thing with like with my back, like the herniated stuff, like everything that is preached about working made it worse. And I don't know if it was the avoidant thing, but it was like, I have never had pain because of a Jefferson. Never had pain because of any like load up like the side bends for 225, like going heavy on those. Like,
Yeah.
never had pain doing that stuff. It's always felt amazing after. The things that have always caused me pain is like staying completely compressed, staying completely neutral. Every single time I feel like trash after. So it's like the back world is crazy. Like some of the stuff we talk about in the back world, it's like, I don't know if you guys have never had back pain or never helped somebody out of it, because it seems like you're just parroting.
Parroting squat you.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Like it's like there's no way you actually like lived and breathed that with a person that had back pain and got them out of back pain.
You coach a lot of young athletes,
Yeah.
right? If you could be that age again and give yourself some advice and just like be your own coach from a young age, 1, how much fitter do you think you would be today? And 2, what would be the reasons for that progress?
In some senses, I think much fitter. In some senses, I think it would do me a big disservice. Like I think about this a lot. It's like I did so many dumb things growing up, but like there was so little information that the dumb things I did 2,000,000% intensity and focus, and like I just was committed to it. Now I overthink training. I'm not now, but like especially then when all this new information was coming, like I was overthinking training a ton, and like, well, I have to hit all this stuff, I have to do all those things, and when before it's so simple, like just get after it. So if I could keep the same focus and intensity with the variation of movement that I've done significantly, I just worry that like with the typical high schoolers now, where it's like there's so much information, they never commit to anything because there's so many programs to try. And I think I got really lucky not having social media when I was a high school athlete. It would be really tough for me looking at all the stuff. I'm like, fuck, I got to do these, I got to do that, I got to do that. And like, I didn't have any principles. It was,
Yeah.
I think that was a nice thing about like when I was growing up is like we had principles, and the principles weren't great, but they were principles that like made you commit to something. And that was really helpful. You were talking about how before you would do something like this and be like wrecked for a while. I had the same thing in college. Like I would just do something and I'd be wrecked because I didn't have any movement variability. So if anything went wrong, we were talking about the transfer of strength too. Like I think that's a big piece too. Like I had no transfer of strength. I had nothing. Like it was just strictly the tests that I picked that were important in those 3 months. I was amazing at, and everything else I was trashed. And that doesn't make for a great athlete, you know. Like it brings up spikes, but the like the well-roundedness of an athlete and feeling good, which I think is a massive component of being a good athlete, is just like feeling good. Play the long-term game. And when you like feel like, and I think a lot of it's like the American culture of the 4-year gap. Like 4-year in high school, you have to be like the king of the kings by the end of that 4-year. 4-year college, you have to be the king of the king. And then you get out of that setting, you're like, I have 40 years to do this. You have so long. And I think a lot of people don't realize it, and they have so much pressure, and there's not a lot of coaches, because I think a lot of the coaches feel the pressure of like, you need to peak in 4 years, and that's all they care about. So instead of like taking the massive approach of like, okay, if one thing bad happens in training, or you had a bad training session, or you had a bad training cycle, you can make up for it because you have so much time.
Yeah.
And that's what a thing that I allow myself. It's like, it's a much longer training cycle now. Like it's a training cycle for 40 years rather than 4 years. And that allows me to like not over focus on small specific things, but like get after what I have that day, whether it's a technique thing or a strength thing or a variation thing. I don't know.
I train by myself almost exclusively. Like
Really?
I never got like just like sessions with the bros to max out everything, have way too much caffeine. Like I kind of missed out on that phase. I think that would have done me a lot of good.
That's the thing I miss the most now. We did some dumb shit growing up, but it was like, there was so much intensity that went into that dumb shit where it was like, it all kind of paid off.
Floor is uneven.
Dude, that was driving me nuts too. I was like, damn, okay, he's not saying anything. I'm like,
This.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're a psychopath with your slow lower back down.
I love when people see stuff like this and they're like, you know, have fun with your back injury or whatever.
Yeah. Every time.
And it's like, dude, you have no idea that I had a back injury when I started doing this 15 years ago.
Doing
with
everything right.
With 75 pounds. And now 10,000 reps later, here we are.
Well, that's the thing with me too. It's like they always say that, and I'm like, dude, I am not against this stuff to be against the stuff.
Right.
It's like I did it, and like felt horrible doing it. Like I've lived and breathed that. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like I've done it the right way in quotations, right? And like when I did it that way, I herniated a disc, and like literally once a month I'd get laid up in bed, couldn't move. Like it was horrible every time. I'm like, I don't know.
I have taken core stability about as far as it can go, and I've seen that there's nothing there. At one point, I thought it'd be fun to try to train for like the Guinness World Plank Record. So I gave it a whirl, and I was planking for like a couple hours a week. And it's not worth it, dude.
Come on.
Nope.
You want a belt?
No.
No? You anti-belt?
Not anti-belt, but
He's anti-belt, people.
What?
yeah. I do these as heavy as I can,
Yeah.
and then switch to regular stiff leg.
Oh, like deadlifting?
Stiff legged deadlift.
Yeah.
It's a fun combo. I recently switched to higher frequency, lower volume.
Yep.
So I'm doing legs 3 days a week. So usually my sessions are pretty
Snappy.
snappy.
Yeah.
I'll do like 2-3 good lifts, but I got three sessions to 2.
I've been doing
It's
that.
been going well.
I just like it because it's like the mental. Like people talk about like how long should you work out? I'm like, dude, whatever like keeps you in the gym. Like like if I try to do a 2-hour workout right now by myself and like actually hit everything, it's just like I'm just gonna pace myself. I know it. Like because I don't want to be there that long, and then I feel like I have so much stuff to do throughout the day, like other stuff. It's like, so if I like set 4 things, okay, like I have these 4 things, I'm gonna hit heavy clean, heavy deadlift, and then I'm gonna just find machines and not even stress about the accessories, just like hit something hard after those 2 things. I get in and out. I feel amazing doing it, but that's been my kind of strategy right now.
Like if I wanted to do everything optimally and like train as hard as I possibly could, take super long breaks, do all of the stuff, I would probably like to be in the gym for 2 hours a day, give or take. But I can get 85, maybe even 90% of those gains in 30 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm like a crackhead about like, I don't know if you do this, but like micro workouts throughout the day, like money makers for me. Like in the morning when I'm with my athletes, like I'm doing a lot of the accessory stuff with them, like a lot of mobility and like stretching. Like I love doing that. That for some reason, like the smaller doses of it keeps me way more mentally engaged than trying to hit it all
why.
at
It
once.
used to fuck with me mentally. If I had to like stop a session short,
Same.
I'd be like, I can't get back into it. Like I don't know, dude.
It's such a switch from where I was, because like before it was, if I didn't do everything in the 2 hours, it was like you ruined the training session. Like it's not connect, like. But that's where I was like way too hyper focused on things, and now it's like I feel like I get way, like you said, the 90% of things done in half the time, and then everything else is like whenever you're free throughout the day, and like it doesn't business wise, it doesn't make any sense for me to keep my in-person training, other than the fact it keeps me in real life. Like I think that's a big issue. Like if you stop training people in person, you have no idea what real life is. Come on, up, 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 up. Fuck yeah, dude. Good fucking set. Let's go.
Thanks.
That was sick.
I used to not like those micro workouts because I would feel like I need to get warmed up, hyped up for everything.
Dude, the hyped up factor, it's crazy how much that has gone away from me, where I can just go in way colder and way like I don't know. I feel like on my highest of hyped days back in the day, I was getting ridiculous work done, but like it took so much to get me into that state. It was almost like more taxing to get into that state than what that state produced.
That's such a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, cause like, again, you talk about like back in the day when we were ripping, like we did anything to like reach that thing. And then once you reach it, the next time you have to come like fucking get hot, more pre-workout, more, you know, like more screaming, more yelling, more slaps. It's like, there are gonna be training days where it's a work day. And that was a big change in my program, is switching from like, almost like showcase into like just a work day. Like this is a work day. We're getting work, and I know in the cardio world, like that's a massive thing too. Like,
well, and you have to be able to flip the switch, and like, oh, it's time for a set. Like bring the energy for a set, and then be able to calm that back down.
Yeah.
I work from home. I have a home gym. I'll be booked with like Zoom calls and stuff all day. I'll be like, all right, sick. I got 15 minutes. I'm gonna go hit 2-3 sets of bis and tries. Back on Zoom.
Yep.
And so sometimes that's how it happens. I might have to break it up into a couple chunks.
Well, I talk about this too, like hypertrophy wise, I think the frequency is such a high piece. It gives you the most amount of chances at a good training day. I just think about that in the practical sense with your athletes, where it's like a lot of the like team sport athletes, they don't take training very seriously or recovery seriously at all. Like, they'll come in hungover as shit. And it's like, if that's their only training stimulus they get in that week because that's your program setup, like it's a stupid way to approach training. Oh, come on. You got this. Let's go. 3 more. Easy. Oh, come on. Come on. Nice. Come on. Oh, come on. Finish. Finish. Let's go. Nice, dude. Come on. Let's go. Good set, dude.
Fuck me. That was 2 hard sets.
That one looked. How many reps did you do your last set?
6.
Okay, I was gonna say that one. The fifth one looked really clean. It's a terrible machine when they have a chair next to it to like save you from dying. Oh, that's cool.
Doesn't it? Feels good, right?
Nice.
You ever do any eccentric overload work?
Back in college, shitload. That's just kind of like when I got into that triphasic world. Didn't feel like I got a lot out of it when I was doing it.
All right, this is gonna be nasty.
Yeah, this is gonna
This is gonna be really gross.
Oh my god.
You go for somewhere between 5 and 20 reps.
5 and 20?
Somewhere in there.
Easy. Come on. Easy. Easy. Come on. Nice. Come on. Come on. Nice. Come on. Easy. Nice. Come on. Come on. Lightweight. Nice. Come on. Finish. Finish. Come on. Up. Nice. Come on. Come on. Up. Nice. Come on. Nice. Come on. Whee! Up. Oh, dude. Up. Come on. Nice. Still looks like. Come on.
No.
Bro. You're so different than me. All of your reps look exactly the same. How many you hit?
20.
I was gonna say, that was a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Every single one of them looked the same exact speed. It looked like you weren't struggling at all.
0 effective reps. No velocity loss.
Dude, it literally looks like you're just cooking the whole time. I'm like, what the fuck?
Jesus God. Oh, dude, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Dude, that's what sucks about sets of 20, the pain doesn't stop for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I don't do them.
Oh yeah. Don't stop.
Come on.
Let's go.
Come on. We're done. You're a psycho.
So like that said, I did 20 reps. Clearly struggling by the end. Like I had to pause at the top. Felt like my legs were quivering.
Yeah.
But then the rep speed was still decent. Depending on your philosophy, I know some people would be like 0 gains, no velocity loss, just pure fatigue, no stimulus. How much stimulus do you think was in that 20 rep set?
A shitload. I think it was a dumb, I don't know, to me, I think that's a dumb way to look at it. Like, the saying, like, people talk about that a lot with like hypertrophy and strength. Like, there's no strength work done, there's no hypertrophy. Like, you're saying there's none. You got no stimulus done lifting that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, those are some of the sayings where it's like, we're just reading textbook and saying shit.
Will Rattel, he's a simp for percentages. I'm all for like going by RPE, velocity loss, like all those sorts of things. But in defense of percentages, I think like if I know that I'm squatting 85% and I know I hit 85% for 20 reps, I don't give a fuck what the velocity was.
People have got freaky strong for all of history without ever worrying about velocity. You know, like, that's the other thing too. Is like, that's not to say looking at your velocity isn't effective. That's not to say it's not an effective philosophy. It's just like people take those philosophies that do work and can work, they take them too far to say exactly what you're saying. It's like, you just did 6 weights with 20. You got something, you like, there's work done there. You got a higher stimulus down there than I did.
Well, like we're similar strengths probably. As if we want to max this, we probably come out like in the same ballpark. But for you to do a 20 rep max, you have to take 2 plates off compared to me.
100%, yeah.
And so there's just no way to say that that's going to be the same stimulus.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. It's like the top level is the same, and you did 13 more reps, and I slowed down quicker. You're saying I got more of a stimulus done there than you? No, there's no way.
A lot of people are like all for working on your weaknesses, but I don't think in this case it makes sense. Like you're probably weaker at 20 rep sets than me. I don't think that means get more out of them. I think it means to get less out of them. In my personal experience with really high rep sets, if I push that to true failure, I had 1 or 2 more, which based on the velocity loss, you would have thought I had like 5 to 10 more.
Yeah.
But I'll hit like velocity loss very abruptly. Like when
happens very
from
quickly
20 to 21, it'll be a fast rep and then a super slow grinder.
Interesting,
like out of nowhere.
No, that's a good point too, because you think about like twitchy athletes, it's like they can do they can make their 95 look like 60%.
Yeah, it's the opposite phenomenon with me, whereas anything over 90% is going to look slow. And then I can bang out reps with speed until the last one.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't need to do that again. That's for sure.
I'm.
People will talk about like shortened position bias work being better for like athletic carryover. So I've seen this argument come up for like why like lengthened position bias stuff is like all the rage with hypertrophy. And people are like, well, short position stuff is still good for athletes because it's going to facilitate acceleration. But actually because you're building like position specific strength in the shortened position? Or is it because short position like resistance profiles encourage like creation of momentum?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm big into like the feel of lifting. So like what makes the athletes feel explosive, what makes the athletes feel strong, and like trying to have something in the workout that allows them to feel like that. And I think a lot of that is the momentum. So it's either high velocity stuff or some of that shortened position stuff that you talk about. But I also think that stuff works like in the abstract of if you're just training for straight output. You think about all the positions the athletes are required to go into, like just being as explosive as possible is not the answer, right? Like for a combine it is, yes. But it's like they also have to be able to survive a lot of the lengthened positions and survive a lot of the wear and tear of the season, especially in any contact sport. So like to say you only should do one because of this specific reason, like where they introduced wolves to get rid of like a certain thing and they fucked up the whole population. It's very similar in training. It's like we look at one minute thing without looking at the cause that it has on everything else, where it's like, okay, these athletes are required to do so much. So if you got them for a 12-week combine program, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like just straight outputs, but there's so much that goes into surviving an actual season and feeling good in an actual season. And this is the stupid thing. It's like, you don't need to put all your eggs in one basket, like we talked about earlier.
I see it like most commonly used as an argument for why all athletes should do hip thrusts, of like training terminal hip extension strength. What if you were just training like explosive strength in mid-range? How is that going to compare to lockout strength?
Maybe athletes should do more hip thrusts because it's just something they don't do. The athlete has so much juice to squeeze from that lemon. You get so much out of that stimulus with a lower cost because they're so bad at it. To get their squat up 10 more pounds, it's going to take a shitload. But if you, like, say, strengthen the glutes and then they come back and then they squat, I found a massive training effect in there. How many reps do you want to hit here?
I think you're crazy for this.
Really?
But yeah.
Maybe I am.
don't know,
I haven't pulled it yet.
10?
10.
Damn. All right. So you brought up an interesting point. This common trend in strength and conditioning is when you get to an athlete to the point, say they're squatting, and you get to the point where they're fighting for like 5-pound PRs, 10-pound PRs. I've heard a lot of coaches are like, what's the benefit of adding 10 more pounds to their squat? Why not do something else? You could add 50 pounds to their Bulgarian, over the next 6 to 8 weeks. But is one of those options actually getting them stronger than the other? Or like when you switch them to Bulgarians, you're really just measuring them gaining a new skill. It's not that they're actually getting stronger. Like adding 10 pounds to their squat or 50 pounds to their Bulgarian might be doing the same thing for them in terms of actual outputs and strength gains. One, you're just seeing that they got better at Bulgarians.
Similar strength gains with less destruction. You don't cut off the squats to go get them stronger at Bulgarians. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the goal is to always go back to the squat, go back to the thing that they're good at, retest. My goal for most athletes is to, like, we're on squat rotations. The next time we get back to that squat variation, can you PR by 10 pounds without touching it again?
I like that.
It's not one or the other. I think that's where, like, we get caught in a lot of bullshit where it's like, even myself, like, communicating that better too, where it's like, it's not just go do this different lift. And then it, like, because there is a skill component to there, but it's like, let's say it's Bulgarians and the athlete has really weak, like, groin, like, and they're good Bulgarian. It's the first time they're having to, like, stabilize that. They go back to a squat and they feel really, really strong. Or maybe it's a quad work thing. Like, I think that's the thing that I try to find with the athlete. I should do more stuff on the ground, more stuff folded, way more hinges than I do. I'm just a bitch. But like, I train myself. I would go do that. Then I would go back to the things I'm already good at. And always, whenever I do that personally and with my athletes, I see a massive strength gain. My old, let's say 405 is my squat max. Instead of that 405 being a grinder, now my groin's stronger, my quads are stronger. I go and it's cleaner and it feels really, really nice. I like feeling strong, like, I don't know, that's a big piece for my training program. Do you feel strong underneath the bar?
I always come back to like, not is this lift getting stronger, but is this pattern getting stronger? So like, if you're like, my back squat is up 10 pounds, my front squat is down, and my like hack squat is down, like, well, I don't know if you really get stronger.
See, that is why I have that argument, because that was me before.
Yeah.
It's like I would go PR in my squat after spending literally 6 months only doing my squat, and I would feel like shit the whole time. I'd feel weak. When I would do more of a like holistic in quotations program where everything is kind of gradually going, I would feel strong with the hammer. But like that, I think that's why it's like my own bias. So I know what that turns into. If you have that meathead mindset of I need to go PR 5 pounds to be stronger. But it's like, okay, is that actually to be stronger in the way that you want to be stronger? You also have the standards of the lift too. Like you can PR in 5 pounds in your squat, but what the first one look like versus the second one? And I think that's a big piece of like a lot of PRs with athletes too.
Is globally this overall pattern improving versus have I just figured out this variation?
You want to put a 25 on?
Another one?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Dude, I think we have a different, I think the limb length or something.
Dude, no way.
Maybe I'm a psycho. I don't know. We'll find out. So what are you using these pads for?
So I use the pads on this so that I can actually get my knees sandwiched together, like full range of motion.
Yep.
Because these just don't close down enough otherwise. I also intentionally like internally rotate to start. So like my feet are wider than my knees.
Okay.
So I'm in this like internally rotated position, which most people suck at IR anyway.
Nice.
Like 20 full and then 10 partials.
I think my first rep is going to look like your partial. That looked intense. I've never done it with this.
There you go.
Oh, thick thighs, bro. This is going to be spicy.
That IR
This feeling, I know, that feeling already is feeling nice.
Oh yeah.
The cramps. Hey.
Get it?
Oof.
If you're someone who's just like wide stance, ER, like everything, this is a good one for filling in some gaps, like getting those hips strong in some different positions.
That feels nice. Even just like that squeezed in position, that feels really, really good. Holy shit. Yeah, that feels good, dude.
Two main ways I've seen people cue this one is to either try to pull in with your knees and with your feet, or I've seen other people cue it where it's more like a rotation where you're pushing in with the knees.
Just the knees.
And out with the feet.
Interesting.
So you're like trying to crank in.
Yeah.
And I like how that second option feels personally, but
should we go heavier? You're an asshole.
after what you did to me on hamstring curls, you can handle this.
Give me more.
There you go.
Ugh. Yeah.
I'm fighting you pretty hard.
Break the watermelon. I don't know why that felt easier than I thought it was going to. That felt good. I took the focus of like rotating in with the knees instead of the feet.
Yeah.
It felt like I was able to just crush weight on that.
What do you do from here? Just stand up?
I think stand up and you have to place it on, right? Dude, that's pretty impressive getting in that squat though. I feel like that's